Oh, we're live.
Hello, audience.
Oh, hello. The title of the stream is How to Meet Women in a Foreign Country. So you better be ready for that one. We've got a like on the stream already, which is nice. Hi, bro. Hi, bro. How are you?
Hi, bro.
Hey, bro. You wanna come see Pistachio? You wanna get everything that you want? This is just going to be a quick live stream. I want to keep it consistent with the daily live streams like I said I was going to. Myself and Ephraim are in Nicosia right now. So we're going to be going out and enjoying the Nicosia nightlife. But I just wanted to put a live stream out to you boys just to address the topic of how to meet women in a foreign country, because I appreciate a lot of people who are watching these live streams. You've got aspirations to travel. And travel is something that is new to you. Yeah. So I thought we'll get each other on the live stream and just document the journey so far. So I think actually, there we go. How have you found meeting women in a foreign country?
Yeah, I found it interesting so far. So I've been here about 3 weeks now. The first 2 weeks it was a culture shock, to be honest. Like, I came here, and I'll be honest, like now I can be honest. So I got here thinking, oh, first things first, like I'll come out the first day, I'll crush it, I'll get dates lined up week 1. And that couldn't have been further from the truth. So what realistically happened was there was a learning curve where I needed to get it integrated into the language, into the culture. By week 2, I'd say I'd gotten like a handful of numbers, but even those it was like I got the numbers, but I wasn't getting many responses. I kept getting ghosted. And what I learned was it wasn't just about coming out, being a pretty boy, doing my hair, looking good. There was a presence that I needed to develop. And I've been here 3 weeks now. Over the past 3 weeks, I've been working with Kristian and I've been developing that extra skill set. Like maybe I got to the 90%, but I needed to develop that 90 to 100% where I was learning how to be comfortable in the silence. I was learning how to allow there to be gaps in conversation where I felt uncomfortable, but I had to acknowledge that she also felt uncomfortable. So yeah, long story short, I found that I couldn't come out here and apply the same like American game that I had back home. I had to upgrade my game is one way to put it. So I had to learn how to be just sit in conversations, sit in the parts that I felt were uncomfortable, but she also felt were uncomfortable, and learn that the silence that I was allowing was the opportunity for her to walk away if she didn't want to engage with me, which I'll be honest, most of the time was the case. Like most of the time I allowed the silence, she walked away, which is great. But the few times that she stuck around, I knew, okay, this is a girl that actually wants to engage with me. And so, yeah, if we were to apply that to week 3, now I'm in a place where like, honestly, most of the numbers that I'm getting, I'm texting back and forth, I'm setting up dates, I'm going on dates. And so, yeah, week 3 has taught me that just because I get the number, just because I get the Instagram, that doesn't mean that that's ever gonna go anywhere. Like, there has to be a certain precedence in conversation. There has to be a certain like energy that I'm putting out that she actually wants to engage with me. She actually wants to converse with me. And yeah, through that, I'm learning to be comfortable in the silence, and I'm learning to just like push the boundaries of what I thought was possible. Like Kristian, at first, he gave me the 90% of the playbook, which was the tactical principles, which was to go up, to give the compliment, to learn how to engage in conversation, and most importantly, to learn how to be uncomfortable in conversation. But throughout this experience in Cyprus, I've learned that there's a different echelon to game in general. And yeah, I'm learning to be comfortable in the silence, allow her to walk away if she wants to, And what we found today, which is what I'll upload later, I found that if she sticks around, that's a girl that actually wants to talk to me. So like, for example, I had, I think 2 or 3 conversations today where it was like what we would consider awkward. Like there was silences in the conversation, there were gaps in the conversation. And yeah, I just learned to be okay with the gaps, be okay with there not being actual conversation to be filling the gaps, and instead to allow her to step into the space. And yeah, I met a few girls today that the majority of them, they walked past me, but there were a couple that they seemed okay with me leaving space, which told me they actually want to be engaging with me. So yeah, I found week 3 to be great so far.
Yeah, so obviously you're somebody who's gone from the States. We worked together in Poland, in Warsaw, and now you're out here in Cyprus.
Yeah.
What do you think are the main lessons that you've learned as someone who had never even left the United States to now having this international lifestyle? What do you think are the main lessons that you've learned when it comes to actually meeting women in foreign countries?
So the first lesson that comes to mind is that I thought, being from the States, everything was the same. I have my game in the States, which is I go up. This is so foreign to people. Like, rarely do people in the States actually like approach girls, stop them on the streets. This is completely separate to online dating, right? Like, rarely does that happen. So in the States, it was so easy for me to just rely on my looks, rely on the base level things that were getting me girls in the first place. The first lesson that I learned here is that I needed to develop like a true masculine presence. And being completely transparent with your audience, like that's what I like about the live stream, is I get to be completely real. I'm still developing it. Like, even though I thought coming from the States, I'm gonna do so good and wherever I go. The truth is, like, even now, even today, I'm still developing this presence about me where it's like whenever there's a gap, even now, whenever there's a gap, I want to fill it with like this like awkward laughter, right? And especially with girls, they're so in tune with that, like they're so in touch with that they can pick up on whatever nervousness I give off. So the main lesson that I've learned so far is to be okay with the silence, to be okay with the gap. And honestly, to like marinate in it, to try to produce the gap, because producing the gap allows them to fill the gap. And if they don't fill the gap, that tells me they're not interested in me, which is what I wanted to know all along, right? Like, I wanted to know, are they interested in me? Whereas previously in the States, right? I would go in, there would be a gap, I would fill the gap with laughter, with a question, with a random comment. And because there was some substance there, they would grab onto it just because it's more awkward to walk away than to engage with me. Whereas now I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna leave the gap. If it's awkward, and you'll see this if you click over to my channel, they literally walk right past me, which is exactly what I needed. Like, I needed to learn that this is not something that I had learned previously. I needed to learn that if I leave a gap, they'll walk away. And that is the point. That is them showing me, all right, you know what? You might be cute. You might have your pretty boy look. This is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more of a masculine presence. So the biggest lesson that I've learned is to be okay with the silence, is to be okay with the gap. Because the girls that are actually interested in me, they show that. They almost reveal themselves by stepping into the gap and filling the silence. And that's how I know, okay, like they like me. For example, I met a Russian girl today, and like, long story short, although she had a husband, funny enough,
And a cat.
and a cat, yeah. Tomato. She filled the gap for me. So like she revealed to me that she had a husband, and by that point I kind of checked out of the conversation, right? I was like, okay, like, tell me what is there fun to do, because like there's nothing else that's gonna come of this, right? I know my boundaries personally. There's nothing else that's gonna come of this conversation. And although I left the space, she kept stepping into the space, like to the point where at the very end, I was like, okay, like it's very nice meeting you. I hope you have a nice day. Like it's a great day in Nicosia. Have a good one. And like she turned to me as I was walking away, and she like almost wanted to pull me back in a conversation. So in this case, of course, not a girl that I was interested in. She had a husband, but like a girl that was interested in engaging with me. So like what I took away from that conversation was, although this wasn't the ideal scenario for me, although we had a conversation, I loved it, but like results were not there. This is a girl that actually wanted to engage with me. And there were signs that I picked up on that previously I wouldn't have picked up on. But now that I'm like more in tune with this stuff, I'm like, okay, because I was walking away, but she still was turning to me, she was still pulling me into conversation. Like there were still things about that she wanted. She wanted to further conversation. So yeah, I mean, maybe hard to grasp from like a live stream, but like these are things that I'm still learning. So this is me trying to like verbalize my learnings of the day to you. So yeah, to summarize, biggest lesson for me so far in Nicosia, in Cyprus, has been day game is great. I've been proficient at the skill, okay, but like there's still so much to learn about the skill. Like there's still a presence that I need to have that I was able to escape previously, because in the States it's so rare that somebody goes up to somebody and says, wow, like you look so amazing, I had to stop. It's so rare that I can get away with just looking myself, just acting however, as sporadic, as needy as I was acting, I can get away with it in the States. But if I want to take this skill set and move it across literally continental boundaries, I need to get a bit more proficient at certain things. So what I've noticed is the guys here, like even me and Kristian joke around with it. The guys here, they like, we'll see a bombshell. We'll see it like a 9 out of 10 where we're like, oh my God. And she's with a guy that we're like we look better than this guy. But the difference is that they have a certain presence to them. Like they don't have the pretty boy look. They don't have the nose ring, but they have like they're so set in their beliefs. They're so set in they're so grounded. That's a good word. They're so grounded in their beliefs that it doesn't really matter how they look. They're attracted to the masculinity aspect. So yeah, to summarize that, I've been focusing on not just maximizing, but like congruentializing. Like if we were to use congruency as a word, like I've been focused on making it so that my looks, my actions are congruent with my actual, like my presence. And it's a hard concept to grasp in words, but if you watch Kristian's videos, if you watch my videos, you'll see what I mean. It's this like little boy energy that I still am portraying, right? It's like I go into conversation and I'm so scared of getting them to walk. I'm like, no, don't walk away before you go. Whereas like the guys here, they're so like, fuck it if you go. Like it is what it is. I still have my life to live. I still have my job to do. I still have my money to make. And so I've been learning to internalize that. And I'm almost afraid of like the person that I'll be when I go back to the States, because it's like, I just know that I've truly amplified my game out here so far. So yeah, that's the biggest lesson that I've learned, is like the masculinity aspect.
Yeah, I think having the masculine aura is really important out here.
Aura.
Just being someone who commands respect, and that starts off with respecting yourself, respecting your presence, respecting the direction that you're going in.
Yeah.
How do you think that this differs from our experience in Poland? Like, do you think that because you started in the States, then we worked together in Poland. Obviously, Poland is a lot different to the States. I'm sure there's a lot of guys who follow this content. Maybe they're based in the States, maybe they're based in the UK. How do you think, like maybe Poland itself differs to somewhere like Cyprus? Like, what do you think is like the main takeaways from that?
So, in Poland, which by the way, Poland is a great training ground. So, the reason why I'm so thankful that I had my experience with Kristian in Poland is, even though I was getting blown out in Poland, even though I was building the skill set, the girls were so almost like empathetic towards me. So they acknowledged the effort that it took for me to go up to them, and they thanked me for it. They were like, wow, thank you for the compliment. Thank you for taking the bold action to go out of your comfort zone to come up to me and tell me that I'm beautiful, but I'm not interested, right? Whereas in Cyprus, it's almost the exact opposite. The girls here, I go up to them, I'm bold, I try to be very expressive, and they're just like, I'm not interested, get out of my way. What I'm realizing is that that's not personal. They're not saying that in like, okay, I don't like you, I don't like anything about you, get the fuck out of here. They're saying it in a way that's like, look, I've been born and raised, my culture is very direct. If I don't like you, I'm not gonna waste your time, I'm not gonna waste my time, I'm just gonna go. So being in Cyprus, I've learned, and I'm thankful I didn't have my experience here in a smaller city, but I've learned this has amplified my game, because it's like there's no bullshit here. It's like, look, I'm not interested in you. I have a destination I'm trying to get to. Why waste both of our times? Let me just go past you. Let me just say, look, get out of my way, go to the next girl. Like, I'm gonna keep walking. So in Poland, the biggest contrast was in Poland. They would stop, they would acknowledge me, they would say, oh my, like, thank you for taking the time out of your day to take this brave action, to call me beautiful, to stop, to put your ego on the line like you're doing. Whereas in Cyprus, they're like, I don't give a fuck what you're doing, bro. Like, I'm not interested. Get out of my way. Kind of like the same way the cars drive by and they beep at us when we're in the streets. They're like, just get out of the way. So the biggest difference that I've seen is, and there's maybe something to pull from here. Whereas if you're building the skill set, you kind of want to be in that more empathetic environment where they're more thankful. You kind of get that positive reference experience. We're like, okay, what I'm doing is like, it's decent, it's acknowledged, they empathize with me. Whereas in a place like Cyprus, it's no bullshit. It's like, look, if I'm interested in you, I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna engage with you. So like the dates that I've gone on have been girls that literally, they're like, okay, I wanna talk to you, let's talk, let's further things. But the girls that are not interested in me, which, by the way, are the vast majority of girls, they literally walk right past me, like they don't acknowledge me. And as somebody who's gotten proficient at the skill set, I'm not used to that, right? I'm used to girls at least stopping and saying like, oh my God, like thank you. Rarely do people come up to me and say this. That's not the case at all. So yeah, if I was to summarize your question, in a place like Poland versus a place like Cyprus, you get more empathy, you get more of the training wheel experience in an Eastern European country. Now you come to the Mediterranean, everybody's very direct. Their style of communication, not just with guys they're interested in, but with people in general, it's just more direct. So you get more of the like, okay, you've built the skill, great. Now let's see what you're really about. And that's what I've been like, I can't lie, it's been difficult for me, even me, a person that I think like, oh, I'm so proficient in the skill, but I've realized that even here, there's still so much for me to learn. And yeah, in Cyprus, it's just been about like being more direct with the approach. It's been about like really getting in front of them. In Poland, I can get away with like approaching them from the side, they'll stop, they'll talk to me. In Cyprus, I need to get in front of them. I need to stop them. I need to be like, look, whatever you're doing, stop. I have something important to say. And like, that's why I'm delaying the compliment here. That's why I've been learning to like extensiate the compliment. So it's like, it's not like, oh, excuse me, you're so beautiful, hi. That works in Poland. That works in the United States. But in a country that's more direct, maybe you're in a place where the girls are more like, no bullshit. You need to be so hyper confident in what you have to say that they just need to stop. There's girls that have been on the phone and I just get in front of them and I just wait till they hang up. I'm like, excuse me, and I just shut up. I'm like, I just wait. And then finally they hang up and I'm like, okay, what I wanted to tell you was, look, I'm from the United States. I've been traveling. I've been learning, meeting new people, learning about the area. I'm from Paphos. Now I'm in Nicosia. But long story short, what I wanted to tell you, and then by then it's like we're 20 seconds into the conversation. They're invested, right? Like they've stopped, they've paused, they've taken time out of their day to talk to me. And now it's like, okay, I'm from another place. But I had to stop and tell you that you look so beautiful. And like, that is so different from what I'm used to, right? I'm in the United States, right? I'm in San Francisco. And I just stopped the girl, hey, excuse me, I can get away with flashing my smile, with being cute. That's not the case over here. And I'm so glad that I came here, because previously, like, yeah, I could have stayed in the States, I could have been in my comfort zone, but like now I just know that this newfound experience that I have, now pulling this back to the United States, like, it's just gonna make me a completely different weapon. So yeah, that's been the biggest takeaway for me personally.
Yeah, I think you can't really say that you've learned game or you've excelled in this area until you've packed a suitcase and gone abroad. Like, you just haven't. Like, just because you're good in Barnsley doesn't mean you're good in Barcelona. Like, you need to, in my opinion, in order to certify your status as, like, let's say, like a god level game guy, you need to hop on a plane. You need to go and experience new cultures, because it's so easy to get stuck in the comfort quicksand of your home city. You're approaching the same girls, you're having experiences with the same girls. You feel like you're the guy. But I feel like solo travel is one of the best things that men can do, not just to heighten their overall, let's say, game, but just their life experience as well. Like, when you travel, when you're on the road, it demands a lot from you. You do become a new person through putting yourself into a new city. And every city has got its own language. And I think part of the beauty of learning this is learning that every city is different, and you almost recreate yourself in every single new city. What do you think have been like the highlights for you? So like, what if you had to name like your top 3 highlights of being in Cyprus? Like, what do you think of the situations and experiences which stand out to you?
Yeah, so the top ones for me have been, so the first week was that was a reality check. I came here thinking, first day I'm gonna get dates lined up for the next 3, 4, 5 days. And the reality was so different. Like, I came out here, I was fairly proficient in this skill. Like, I spent a month with Kristian, learning the skill, really truly honing the skill. Like, the first 2 weeks were spent building the skill. The subsequent 2 weeks were spent really like just chiseling the finer details of the skill. So I went back to the States thinking, I'm the fucking guy, right? The biggest successes that I've felt in this city, funny enough, have been, like, for example, the first 1 to 2 weeks, I got a boatload of phone numbers. I got a boatload of Instagrams. I got so many contacts, right? All of them led to nothing. Like, all of them, they ghosted me. They never responded. We had a few back and forths, and then they stopped responding to me. The biggest push-throughs of being on this trip have been developing myself into the person that has a true masculine presence, to where the girls, they want to speak to me. So like now on week 3, transitioning into week 4, I'm texting like 4 to 5 girls at a time. They're wanting to set up dates with me. I'm going on dates. Like, the biggest breakthrough for me has been going from this guy who got dates in Poland, who got dates in the United States, to like coming to Cyprus, getting humbled, getting his ego, his self-worth just uppercutted, just jabbed right in the face. And now, having been gotten to the other side of that, to where now like the girls, the Instagrams, the numbers that I'm getting, they're actually going somewhere, that's what I'm used to, right? But being out here, like, that was not the case whatsoever. So the biggest breakthrough for me has been going from like getting a boatload of what we would call like Instagram's numbers, contacts, actually transitioning into dates. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to fucking grow my contact list. I can give a fuck how many numbers I have in a day, but how many numbers of those transition into dates, transition into good experiences that I'm having, that I can reflect upon, that I can share with other people. So yeah, that personally, the biggest step for me has been, and it's been a huge step, but it's been going from the cute American boy who comes out, who looks cute, going from that guy to like, okay, I'm here, I'm in Cyprus, and I fucking like you. Like, let's hang out. And like, girls actually responding to that. That's been a huge lesson for me. And it's so hard to verbalize, but like, there is another echelon to this. There's another echelon there's another echelon from getting numbers to like converting those numbers into dates. That's another step that I didn't think was there because I spent time in Poland, because I spent time in an area where people were so receptive to me. It was almost like easy mode, right? And I'm so glad that I chose to put myself in an environment where it was a hard mode, because now, not only like this is for me to prove to myself, okay, I can do it in America, I can do it in Poland, but I can do it in a very like conservative, like very difficult place like Cyprus. That means I can do it anywhere, right? Like I can go anywhere where it's just like this. The environment is just like this. The girls, they're so direct. That means that like my game has amplified completely. So that has been my biggest like personal success. And I hate tying success to results, but you have to, right? It's like I can get 1 million numbers, but if none of those convert into dates, then it's like, is this really doing anything? Or am I just a number god, right? But like, even if 1% of those numbers convert into dates, like that feels like I'm actually progressing. I'm actually building on top of the skill set that I learned. So I have one question for Kristian. So being a student, right? I worked with Kristian less than a year ago, and he saw me go from like scared of the world, this little boy that was so scared to do his first approach, to now like completely changing my personal game. Going from like scared of the world, scared of girls, to now going in for like we were sitting at a bar, we were drinking, and as we were just sipping on our drinks, we were watching beautiful girls go by, and I'm going in for them. So I'm curious, for Kristian, what has it been like to see a student like go from just like working with you? Yeah, I'm part of your entourage, I'm part of your network, to like really truly amplify, really truly pushing yourself. What has that been like? Did you expect to see something like that? And what are the main takeaways that you've learned as a coach from seeing your student push himself without actually like having an extra push there? I've kind of been doing it myself. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, for me, first and foremost, it's been really inspirational to see your consistent drive to want to become better. And it's almost allowed me to go back to when I first started and like to have that like vicarious hunger in someone else. Like I think when you're actually spending time with somebody who's as driven as you are, it really brings out the best in you. And yeah, when I said to you that I was going to be in Cyprus and you were like, yeah, I booked my flight, I'm going to be there. Like that just screams success to me, because it's one thing to do it in Poland, to do it in the States, but then to put yourself and position yourself in somewhere like Cyprus. Yeah, I think it takes a certain type of person to actually be able to do that. So yeah, for me, the growth has been exponential, and it's always crazy to me because I'm like, okay, I'm putting this content out there into the world. I'm working with guys such as yourself. I'm, having somewhat of an impact. But then it's like, when you actually see it in person, like when we're just sat down and like you're just going in for an approach without me needing to trigger you or say anything, you're just going in for them. Like, that's the whole point of this. It's like you can just be an autonomous individual in a foreign country. You see somebody that you find interesting, and then you can just initiate a conversation. I just feel like a proud father. Yeah. And it's like, it's everybody who I've worked with. It's like that impact. And then it's like, because you're now creating your own YouTube channel and you're creating your own content, and it's that snowball effect that, like, we were speaking about this, and like I still don't really know how the whole thing plays out, but it's like the guys who work with me are then creating their own YouTube channels and teaching this skill set to other guys in the same position as they were not that long ago. Like we are genuinely changing the world. Like that's what's happening. It's like we're overcoming our fears. I'm showing you that this is possible. You can do the thing that you want to do. And then like you don't just have the audacity to run with the skill. You have the confidence and irrational self-belief to then take it upon yourself to blaze a trail for other people.
Yeah.
I don't know any network in the world that does that. That someone who learns the super difficult skill of cold approach, but doesn't just teach it, but teaches other people how to teach it.
Yeah.
And I think the impact that we're having, it is changing the world because we're opening up the minds of men to say, listen, you don't have to be swiping your life away on a screen. You don't have to be settling for low quality girls in grotty nightclubs. Like you can just go over to somebody in a foreign country, introduce yourself and have no attachment to the outcome. But like the rep itself is the reward. And yeah, I personally feel truly blessed knowing that I've worked and I'm continuing to work with people such as yourself. And it's like, it's not even like a client relationship anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like we're friends.
Yeah.
And like we have conversations and we share things with each other that I wouldn't have these conversations with other people. And I think that's like the beautiful thing of like connecting with other guys. I don't like to use the word day game, but like when you find other guys who just get it, it's like the conversations you have with those people, they supersede anything else. Like I would talk to you and to the other guys in the network. I talk to you about anything. Like if I was struggling with my mental health, if I was just struggling with life, like the guys yourself in the network, you'd be my first point of contact because it's like if we can talk about day game, we can talk about anything.
Yeah.
I think it's just this vulnerability of where it's like, yeah, we can talk about this. Or like if we're just like walking down the street and one of us sees somebody, we just go in for the conversation. And it's like, it doesn't even matter if it goes nowhere. It's just like, it's just a fun time. Yeah. It's like, we get it. I think that's what it is. It's like just finding people who get it, who are on the same frequency as you and who support you regardless of the outcome. Like it's so difficult to find that, especially in this space. Like there's so many weird, strange people in this industry. Like there just is a lot of weird people. Like when I first started Cold Approach, I was just finding like so many strange people. I wouldn't be friends with them outside of this. And that was my main inspiration for starting the Entourage. I wanted to connect all of the guys who were accepted to work with me, and I wanted to put them into one place so we could all connect with each other. And yeah, I just think having that network is beautiful. And I just think that like being able to actually see where you develop like 10, 15 years from now, yeah, it just feels fucking cool, man. Like it's just great. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the community is, it's an aspect that I didn't expect to be so, I didn't expect for the community aspect to be such a big portion of this. I thought that it was just the skill set. I thought that it was just me attracting girls. But yeah, I realized early on that if you can develop the skill set, that's like 10, 15% of this. But like now that you have the skill set, you're not going to be the kind of person, most likely, you're not the kind of person, because most of us aren't. We're not the person that wants to go out and be the guy that just goes and tries to get girls all day, every day. Like, we're just normal fucking guys. Like, I have my interest. I'm a programmer. I like to lift weights. I like to play pool. Like, I'm just a normal person. But in addition to that, I was not satisfied with my dating life. So it's like, that was just one subsection of my life that I needed to get complete. And now having completed it, I'm like, wow, it feels so, I feel so whole now. I feel like the world is mine now. I feel like I can travel to anywhere that I want. And I've proven this to myself. I can travel to anywhere that I want and make the same stuff happen. So it's so mind-boggling to me. So what I was going to bring up is, so personally, when I first reached out to Kristian, I was in the position that like most people are in that watch Kristian's content, where like the first time I came across Kristian's content, part of me wondered if it was real. Part of me wondered if it was possible. And to be quite honest, like I let 2-3 years go by where I was like, okay, like I saw some infields. This looks scripted. This doesn't even look that feasible for me. But I was 19 at the time, right? So it's like, I give myself grace. Like I saw where I was at the time. I didn't look nearly as good as I look. I didn't have the life anything close to the life that I have now. So to be fair, it probably wasn't feasible. But the question I want to introduce is, there was a point, I was 23 years old when I reached out to Kristian. It was February 2023. And I knew where I was. I was brutally honest with myself about where I was. But I was still scared to bridge the gap because I wondered if me, right? Like a random person who had no experience approaching girls, who had no experience in anything close to this space. Like the most I had done was go out with my friends at the time. We'd go out to bars. We'd kind of try to hit on girls. Most of the time we wouldn't go up to any, and we would bottle every single approach. We'd be at nightclubs. We'd be at bars, and we'd point out girls. Oh, she's cute. You should go up for that. And then we would just not do anything. So as somebody that's watching this, you're probably in the position that I was in a year ago, where I felt almost like inadequate to reach out to Kristian. I was like you talk about working with busy city workers, they're high achievers. Like I was 23. I had just gotten laid off from my first programming role. And part of me didn't even feel like it was feasible to reach out to you. Part of me didn't even expect a response. And I reached out and I got a response, and I was bluntly honest with you on our first call. And I said, dude, like, I can't say I've done much, but like I put myself out there. I've tried my best, and I'm not getting anywhere with this skill set. Like there's something that's missing here. There's something that I need to be taught, like any other skill, that if I was taught, I would be able to actually like transcend my current self and actually improve in this space. So let's say there's guys that are watching and they feel like they're in the same position that I'm in, or that I was in, let's say 1 year ago, where I have a decent job, I wasn't making much, I didn't think much of myself, my self-image wasn't crazy high. I just had been fortunate enough to have developed some sort of social skills through sales, through whatever I had in the past, sure. Is it feasible for these guys to reach out? Like, do they need to be the top of the top? Do they need to have life figured out in order to work with you? Or here's a better way to phrase it. The people that watch your content, what do they need to have in order to find success in this space? They reach out to you. What are the intangibles that they need in order for you to go, okay, look, you don't have everything, but you have just enough to where we can work with this. Because there's plenty of guys, they comment, they ask questions, and we look at the comments and we're like, all right, clearly you're not there. Like your questions are so, they're so like, they're inadequate. They're almost, they don't really make sense to the content of what we're talking about. They're just like, oh, like, how do I hook up with this girl? Oh, if this girl says this, what do I say? Well, it's like, okay, there's other channels for that. This is so much different than that, right? This is like a holistic skill set that you can apply into different areas of your life that'll maximize the areas. So like, what is the base level? What do people need to have in order to reach out to you and actually like earn their way into working with you and building the skill set?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think one word summarizes it, which is desire. Like you just need to fucking want it. Like not just the skill set of learning how to attract girls, but you need to have a deep desire to want to transform who you are at your core level. Like that's what it was always for me. As soon as I saw that first ever infield video, I already connected the dots. I didn't just think, I want to do this because I want to get girls. It was, I want to do this because I want to transform my whole fucking life. Like, I want to transform my whole identity. I want to become the most confident, fuckable version of me. I want to go after what I want rather than settling for what I think I can get. Like, yeah, I wanted the girls, but like, I wanted the lifestyle. I wanted the confidence. I wanted the charisma. I wanted to know that the woman who I decided to be with, she was a choice rather than just handed to me out of scarcity. Yeah, and I think that's the position that most guys are in, but they don't even realize what it is that they want. And that's why I don't resonate with a lot of people in this industry, because it's like they just want to learn some pickup skills.
Yeah.
That's not going to do anything for you. Like, you can learn the skill. Like, it's like someone, like a service provider, they might offer you like a weekend course. Oh, great, you've learned how to approach. Like, the approach, that is the easiest part. Just going over to somebody and saying something. Bro, you've still got a fucking avalanche, a mountain in front of you. Like, I think just that's what's tripped so many people up. It's like, oh, what's the best open? What do I say to this girl if she didn't respond to my message? It's like, your questions are so small that it's funny. I don't mean to laugh at you because I'm like some savage. It's like, you just need to wake up to the realities of the world. Like I always say to people, master cold approach. Like, get the women's side of things handled so you can focus on what actually matters. Like, I don't want to be going out and my only focus is how can I get girls to like me today? Like, there's just so many more important pressing issues in the world. So get this side of life handled so you can focus on what actually matters. But to answer your question, it's just a desire. Yeah. Like, especially in the first maybe couple of years of me doing this, I'd work with guys and they were almost subscribing for a magic bullet formula. They think all they had to do was show up to the training and they just get the skill. Like, it's like learning a language. It's a lifelong commitment. You don't just do a weekend of learning Spanish and now you're fluent. Yeah. Like, you need to have a reason, like a clear reason why you want to learn this skill. Maybe it's because you're dissatisfied with where you're at. Maybe you want to just break out of the beige. Maybe you've just hit a point in your life where you're like, you know what? I'm looking at my life. I'm looking at the girls that I'm dating. I'm looking at the city that I'm living, the apartment that I'm spending my money. And I just want more from my life. And that's the way that I've always viewed this thing of cold approach. Like, it's a catalyst for the rest of your life. Yeah, like, day game is not the end game. And I just see so many guys falling into the trap thinking, right, once I've got this skill, my life's going to be complete. No, the skill is the thing that allows you to accelerate and become to where you want to be. Like, it's never just one thing. It's always just an amalgamation of many things. But yeah, I do think that a lot of guys who follow this content, they're just not actually ready to receive the information, and that's fine. Yeah. But the thing that I'm offering, it's not coaching, it's a community, it's a lifestyle, it's a way of being. Like, obviously, we're out in Cyprus right now. I wouldn't just invite anybody to spend a month with me in Cyprus. Like, harkening back to what I said before, there's a lot of fucking weird guys in this industry, and that free consultation call, it's as much for my benefit as it is for the guys that work with me, because I need to find out if you're actually cool, right? I'm happy to say no to people. I say no to more people that I say yes to. Why is that? Because I don't want to be friends, because that's effectively what my clients become. I don't want to become friends with anybody in this industry that I wouldn't be friends with anybody outside of this industry. So, but yeah, for me, it's always that. You need to have a desire. And I think I've got a good read of people. As soon as I had that first call with you, as soon as I had that first call with Joseph, with George, with whoever, I just know. Right? And some people might get offended, like, oh, why did you not want me to work? Like, why did you not want to work with me? Because I don't fucking like you. That's why, right? So it's like, and there's just too many people in this industry, charlatans, who just take money off anyone who hands it to them. That's not the way. That's not the way to create a lifestyle business. It's vetting people the same way that you would vet a woman, the same way that you vet friends in everyday life. So yeah, it's just that. It's a desire to want to become better holistically in every aspect of life. Like, I want to know what your values are, your morals are, what sort of woman that you want in your life. Like, all of that shit. It's not just a case of, oh yeah, bro, I want to just like get through as many girls as possible. I don't care. That just does not resonate with me. So go find someone else, you fucking moron. But yeah, so yeah, look, my coach is not for everybody. If you want to get involved and do it, but yeah, there's plenty of people that'll take your money. Maybe you'll get results, maybe you won't, but there's just far too many charlatans in this industry who claim to be coaches. Really, all they are is service providers. They don't care about you. They just care about how much they can inflate their own wallets. Yeah. So yeah, I just advise people to be critical thinkers. Like, look at people's like infields, look at the stuff that they do, but just more importantly, just look like who they are as an actual person. But yeah, it's always been that for me. It's always been a desire to become more. That's really, for me, it's what you need in this industry. But yeah, I mean, final thoughts on everything in terms of maybe just like final thoughts in terms of Cyprus. Like, what do you think, if you had to say one thing about traveling abroad, meeting girls abroad, like what do you think has been the main takeaway for you that you could give to other guys? Maybe there's guys listening to this and they're planning on doing a trip abroad. Maybe they're in the States, they've never left the States before. What would be the one piece of advice that they could use and they go abroad that will help them in a faraway foreign land?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'd say, the main takeaway for me has been, funny enough, humility. It's been thinking, and this was a process for me. This wouldn't have been my answer 3 weeks ago, but it's been thinking that I knew everything. Thinking that I was the best at the skill set, and oh my God, I've been able to get so many dates. I've been able to make so many experiences happen. And realizing that every country has its own kind of a flirting love language. And just because I can get results in Poland, just because I can get results in the US, doesn't mean that I can come to a completely different country, different culture, different language, different people, different directness, and expect the same results. Which is what I thought. Like I came out here thinking, oh, the first day, the first week, I'm gonna have so many dates lined up because that's how it was in the States, because that's how it was in Poland. But in reality, there's still a learning curve. With every place that I've traveled to, there's still a learning curve, which is why I'm so glad that I've been traveling. That's why I say it's been such a huge amplifier to my game. So humility is being able to like objectively look at myself and go, okay, like it doesn't really matter what I look like, how I act. What really matters is what gets results. And so if I can align myself closer to what gets results, even if that means stepping outside of my comfort zone, even if that means allowing silence where I would usually fill it with awkward laughter or random excerpt of conversation, like that's what I used to do. Whereas now it's like, okay, I have to adjust. Just because it works in the States doesn't mean I can come out here and apply it anywhere. So biggest takeaway for me has been just swallowing the humble pill, which is what I'm used to doing, which when I started playing football and I was shit at it, I had to realize, okay, I need to shut up and listen to my coaches, listen to the people that have done what I've done or done what I'm trying to do and can teach and walk me through the steps. Listen to those people. Listen to the people that are better at this skill set than me and literally just let them talk into my life. And I'll be honest, like it's hard at times. I'm a guy just like Kristian is. He says stuff that I don't agree with, and my first reaction is like, fuck this guy. Like I don't want to listen to him. I don't want to listen to what he has to say. Like I want to insert my own beliefs, my own thoughts. And usually I try to do that, and then I go and apply those thoughts, and then I realize, okay, I was fucking wrong. Like I have to learn through this stuff. And that's part of the reason why we do live streams, why we make videos, is maybe it's an effort and it's never going to go anywhere. But what we're trying to do is show you that we've tried these things. We have tried these different things that you probably are also thinking, and they're not working. Here's what actually works. Now let me extract what actually works and just fucking feed it to you. And then you're going to hear this and your ego is going to get inflated and you're going to go, oh no, I don't want to listen to this. Like all you have to do is do what I've learned from age 4, from age 5. This is how you get girls. You have to get the flowers and you have to swoon them and you have to do everything for them. And that's your ego talking, right? And then you fucking try it and you realize, oh, this doesn't work. And so I should probably like shut the fuck up, humble myself, and listen to people who are actually getting results. That's been the biggest lesson for me, is actually humbling myself and going, all right, I had my thoughts, I had my beliefs, I was so firm in these beliefs, but they're not getting results. And that's the key. It's looking at the people who are actually doing what I want to do and just literally emulating them. It's not fucking following them like they're a deity. No, it's like extracting the parts of them that are working and then ignoring the parts of them that I don't agree with, but actually like following what gets results. And that's all I've done with Kristian, is I talked about this previously. I took his brain, I squeezed all of the value that I can get out of it, and then the parts that I didn't agree with, all right, I pushed to the side. But the parts that I did, where I was like, oh, this is working. Why is it working? Because I've watched him on video. I've watched him in person actually apply these teachings, and then actually get results. And then I compare that to my way of thinking, which was not getting results. And I was like, okay, well, clearly I'm missing something. And I just aligned myself with what actually worked. And clearly enough, now I'm getting now you see the video, now I'm getting results. And it's because I just humbled myself. I was just able to be humble and listen to what he had to say. So the final thing, that's my last take on this question, but the final thing I'll say, and we've been talking about this pretty frequently, just off camera, is we talk about day game, we talk about cold approach as like a space, as a genre, whatever. But what I'm realizing, maybe it's the Gen Z in me, whatever. This is off the record. What I'm realizing is we can truly isolate the skill. The skill set isn't everything. So like cold approach, day game, this is what we're using to communicate the underlying principle that we're trying to deliver, right? Like we need a language. I'm a programmer, right? I code in TypeScript. We have certain language that we use to communicate ideas because it's easier that way. Because we don't have to describe everything every single time. We just use a fucking word. So cold approach, day game, right? This is a very old concept. There's nothing new to this. But this is the vehicle that we're using to communicate a lifestyle, to communicate an underlying principle, an underlying way of life and how we're living life. So it's not, oh, our life is cold approach. Our life is day game. Every day we wake up, we take out the camera, we go and we approach girls. Like, that's not it at all. In fact, the only reason that I personally, and this is to Kristian as well, the only reason that I go out with the camera and I approach girls consecutively is for content, is in order to prove to you that this is possible. In my everyday life, I don't do anything like this. I wake up, I go to work, I go to the gym, I go to the grocery store, and in between this, I see plenty of girls that I'm interested in, and I use the skill set that we've isolated, we've extracted, and I've applied, and I use that skill set in order to attract the women. So the day game, the cold approach, this is just the skill that we're using, that we're trying to communicate to you. Like, if we isolate the skill and we teach you the skill, now you can take it and apply it how you choose. Your life doesn't have to, like, this isn't the product. Like, this isn't what we're trying to communicate. It's the life that we're living. It's like, what is unlocked if you master the skill? You master the skill, you isolate the skill, you extract the skill, you apply the skill, and now so much of your time is unlocked due to knowing how to do this. And it's crazy because a year ago, you could probably look at whatever I post, you could look at just my life in general. A year ago, my life was so different. I was tied to California. I was tied to San Francisco, California, because the only girl that I was attracted to, that was attracted to me, that actually wanted to see me consistently, lived there. And the only girl that was actually attracted to me lived there and wanted to see me, and I couldn't relinquish that relationship because if I did that, then I didn't know how long it would take for me to get another girl. I didn't know how long it would take me to find another relationship like that where it was so like we both liked each other just as much. Whereas now I know that okay, I can let that go. I can get rid of that because I can fly to wherever I want and I can use this skill that I've extracted, that I've applied, and I can make the same exact thing happen wherever I'm at. And that is the value. Like I don't know how to verbalize this to you, but that's what we're trying to communicate. Fuck day game, fuck cold approach. That's just the vehicle. That's just the skill that you need to master to unlock everything that's actually important. And that's what we're trying to communicate. It's like, maybe this is the Gen Z way of cold approach, of day game, whatever. We can call it whatever. But it's like, it's not the fucking, you put on your sports coat and your dress shoes and you go to a mall and you approach girls in a very awkward, structured way. No, it's like, this is just what unlocks everything else that's important to you. So I'll let Kristian finish off whatever he has to say.
Thanks. It's always been a case of life game over day game. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's like day game does unlock the world for you. We use day game as an umbrella term, but I just think it's interesting because like we're only 3 weeks into the new year and we've already done more in 3 weeks than most guys are going to do in 3 years. Like that,
30 years.
Yeah, that is the reality of being associated with people who are living life to the utmost degree. And it's so difficult to communicate it to people if they don't actually live it. Like, if you're the guy who is just going out on his own and like commenting, what's the best open? What, like, you just don't get it. Like, you're like 1% deep in 100% skill. And it's like, it's so difficult to communicate what this skill actually unlocks for you. But I think the people who get it, they get it. You know, those are the guys who reach out. Those are the guys who want to join the lifestyle, because that's basically what we're selling, right? It's not a coaching thing. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that I want the select few to be part of, because I can't really think of a better lifestyle to have. Traveling the world, being able to meet beautiful women all across the globe. And I think more than anything, just having the utmost respect for yourself as a human being.
That's the best part.
It's the best part. Yeah. So I think, yeah, like, we're 3 weeks deep. The year is so young, and already we've done more than most people are going to do. Like, most people are probably watching this, they're in some cold place, they've probably slacked off on most of their New Year's resolutions, like new year, new me, like all of that bollocks. Like, you've probably not done anything with your life, and that, for me, is why you need a network, right? It's why you need the accountability. It's why you need the masculine support of other like-minded guys. Like, it's so difficult to find good guys, especially in this industry. Yeah. And that's why I created this network. It's a specific network for guys who want to learn cold approach, who want to be able to master the art of face-to-face communication, and they want to be able to do it in a way where they don't feel weird about it. I think that was always the biggest hang-up for me. It's like, I knew about like day game and like pickup videos, but I never wanted to be associated with it, because I never wanted to be put into that umbrella of, oh, you're a pickup artist. I hate pickup. I hate day game. I like all of that bullshit. I use those terms so people find my stuff, but like when they actually come inside the house, they see that the furniture's a lot different in here. And it's like, that's what it has to be. You know, like, anybody who associates themselves as a PUA, a pickup artist, you're all a bunch of fucking weirdos. You really are. Like, you think you're a pickup, like, you think that's cool. No, you're a loser. You probably go out to the mall on your own in your same fucking check shirt, thinking you're doing something special. You're not, and that's why the girls don't fucking like you. So, yeah, you need to be part of a network, right? If you are going out and you're doing this on your own, you're pretty much wasting your time. And that is the harsh reality. Like, if you're going out on your own, you've got no feedback, no accountability, no masculine support network, you're literally wasting your time. You may as well take up knitting, because that's probably going to get you more girls. Like, you're not going to do anything. Photography, yeah, to be fair, photography is a good hustle. So look, if you're listening to this and you're doing it on your own, then stop, right? You've got a decision to make. You either decide to work with us, or you find someone else who you resonate with. You find another network. It doesn't have to be us, but at least find people who are similar to you and allow them to help you. Like, the days of the perpetual lone wolf are gone. Right? It's not sustainable. It's not healthy. And there'll be so many people, because their egos are too big, they, oh, well, I've been doing it on my own for years. Yeah, and you're still single and lonely. Like, look at your life. Look at the lifestyle you're living. Look at the girls you're attracting. Look at the money you're making. It's nowhere near what you could be doing if you're actually part of a radically ambitious network. So ultimately, it's your life. Do what you want. There's a link below. Apply to join us, or find other people who you resonate with. But yeah, we're gonna go and enjoy. The Nicosia nightlife, man. It's gonna be cool. We got the black blazer now.
Yeah, we do.
So now
black blazer, black man. That's a dangerous duo.
That is dangerous, man. We look way more professional now. Let's just see what the comments are saying.
Yeah.
Hey, bro. Effie. that's what you know, man. Yeah, you're Effie. Hey, what country you're in? Cyprus. Boys, how do I do what? Joseph commented. Boys, how do I do 1,000 approaches per week? That's so funny. That's funny. That's the guy. Basically, there's a guy who commented on a video yesterday. Such a funny guy. I don't know if he's trolling. It's funny. Yeah. Basically, he says to me, Kristian, I'm 5'2", and I've been doing 800 approaches a week. And we worked it out in the Entourage. That's 42,000 approaches a year, and it equates to 291 days, he's in sets. so apparently, this guy has been going out, he's been doing 800 approaches a week, 42,000 approaches a year. He's got no results. My advice to him, which I think is sound, is go to Asia. And he was like, haha, I laughed at that advice. 42.
An Olympic sport at this point.
I did 42,000 cold approaches and got nothing back. And then he was like, Kristian, you're a bad coach. You don't know how to coach people. You don't know how to put yourself. And I'm like, this is just funny. I truly found it hilarious. But listen, if you're doing 800 approaches a week, please tell me what city you're living in. Because I think personally, my recommendation of going to Asia was sound. If you go to Tokyo, that's one of the biggest cities in the world. You could probably do 2,000 a week. But anyway, it was just funny. So if you're watching this, that really made us laugh. So thank you. That's a good point. Traveling to 13 countries myself, I understand where you're coming from. It's the best feeling. That's from the Nomadic Will. So the Nomadic Will has given us, shout out to you, bro. Thank you for the blessing. But this has been a really good live stream. We've been going for an hour now. Thank you to you. Really appreciate it. If you are watching this live, then give it a like. If you're watching it on repeat, then give it a like as well. We're doing the daily live streams for the rest of the time I'm in Cyprus. So I think I've got like another 10 days here. So yeah, we're just going to be popping the live streams off. Sometimes with me, sometimes with Ephraim, sometimes with none of us, like what all. But it's just funny. But yeah, thank you all for watching. We really appreciate you. Drop the video a like. The link is in the description if you want to join the network, if you want to travel the world with me, if you want to become part of the rapidly growing movement. It's all down below. If you don't like us, then stop watching. Best way, man. Dislike, unsubscribe. That's the best way. Just don't engage. Don't engage with the content. But no, for the people who care, we appreciate you. We love you very much. And yeah, stay sexy.
Stay sexy, okay?
Stay sexy, okay?